Welcome to the Circle of Grace One. I'm your host, Chief Principal Teacher and Founder, Brother Francis E. Revels-Bey. The Circle of Grace One was founded on July 2nd, 1999 AD under the Aegis and the anointing of the Angel of Grace through Divine Providence. He gave birth to his very own spiritual and metaphysical institute on February the 7th, 2009. Also, which is its spiritual and metaphysical institute, it comes under the heading of the Circle of Grace One. I like to call it together, combined, Circle of Grace One is the circle of divine grace and remembrance. If you want to check out some of the things I've done in the past, you can simply go to my website, www.circleofgrace with the number one at the end .net, or you can type in http:// circle of grace with the number one at the end .net. Either way will take you there. You can also check me out on my YouTube channel called Circle of Grace One, or look me up as Bishop Francis Revels-Bey. You can follow me on my Facebook page, the same name, or my fan page, Circle of Grace One. Well, the Circle of Grace One is all about seeding into your life, seeding into your life, seeding into your life with wisdom, understanding, compassion, and unconditional love. This is all about helping you feel better about yourself, live a better life for yourself, and to raise your self-esteem, which allows you to be more magnetic. It allows you to attract more positive people into your life and positive situations. You also are always going through a lot of different circles, and some of those circles have other people's energies that can overlap yours at any time, whereas your auric fields are electromagnetic and they do overlap. That means you could be in someone else's energy space, your auric energy space, their auric energy space, and they overlap each other. And as you know, if you're not familiar, sometimes people's thoughts get into your space, people's feelings get into your space, as well as yours encroach their space. And so sometimes, because some people may not be thinking clearly, or you might not be thinking clearly, the energy fields become muddy. Your energy field can become muddy, cloudy, gray looking. You go through a lot of emotional down times and get to the point where you feel depressed. That's anger turned within, where you get leakage in your auric field and your energy kind of begins to dissipate. This is why we try to eat better, exercise as much as you can, get plenty of rest, sleep when you're supposed to, so that you can help rebuild the energy. You can rebuild your energy through knowing and understanding chakras. When you go and understand chakra energy fields and how they affect you and your environment and other people and their environment and their energy impacting you, then you can realize what it is like to feel better and be better at whatever you might be doing. So what I want to talk about briefly this evening, this is a very short presentation. We started about 7:30. Last week we had like only an audio file on here, so we didn't get a clear image at all, and it happened another time. So we're thankful that tonight that we're here and we get this opportunity to broadcast this program to you in a live video stream. So what I want you to understand, this program is called Self-Love. Circle of Grace One underscore self-love underscore 9/15/2014. So pay attention. That's the title for tonight and of this video stream. And if you go to my YouTube channel, within about 20 minutes later, you'll see the same viewing video stream there in the archives. Now, one of the things I want you to be aware of, and many of you already are, is to pay more attention to how you are thinking about yourself. Pay more attention to those internal thoughts that you have going on all the time. Are you a doubter? Are you one that has a dream? You get a vision, but yet you don't follow through on that dream or that vision. Or is the dream too symbolic for you and you're unable to figure it out? Well, if you have a group of people around you, they can help you figure out your dreams. But you get a vision, and a vision is just about telling you how everything is going to be for you. or some type of experience you're going to have, and that you're going to be able to not only see it manifested in the mind and in the auric field, but eventually materialize in your surroundings. So we want to begin to be aware of, I'm not going to call it the mystical side, I'm just going to call it in the down to earth practical side. We have to come to a point where we are loving ourselves more, honoring ourselves more, respecting ourselves more. Have you ever heard of that phrase, if you don't respect yourself, who will? If you don't love yourself more, who's going to know how to love you? You have to show others how you are to be loved, how you are to be cared for. But in order to do that, you have to present that to yourself. You have to give that kind of attention to yourself. You have to love yourself more. I know many times people have experienced growing up thinking very negatively about themselves, or being in a family where they hear a lot of negativity and a lot of expletives being thrown around freely, and some of those expletives attached to them as children. And when one is told at an early life over and over and over that they're not going to amount to anything, or even in their adulthood they're not going to amount to anything, if a person's emotional energy and mental energy is not high enough to defend that, to block that off, they begin to do what? Believe in that. And they believe it so much that they begin to think that it will be true. And they start to look for negativity to happen. They start to look for something not working out. They start to go to their job and think, okay, I can't make it at work because everybody tells me I'm making mistakes. I'm messing up all the time. So then people what? Are falling out of sync, falling out of joint with themselves. You know, when you go to work, you got to have a mission in your mind that you're there, not just to get that paycheck, but maybe there's something there that you're attempting to learn or you desire to learn. And so you may stay there long enough to learn what you need to learn and then move on and work for another company that's perhaps doing the same thing but taking you further up the ladder. You know, you have to begin to design, create the kind of life that you want. We all know that there are followers, there's leaders, there's doers, there's people that won't do anything. And some of the people are not doing anything because they're procrastinating or that they're lazy. It's because they never have been told by someone that they are a good person. That deep down inside, you are a great person. And when one is growing in an environment where they're hearing good words and seeing good deeds and actions and responses happening around them all the time, then it's very easy for that child to grow into an adult and feel good about themselves. Some people grow up in those environments, but yet they don't believe deep down inside, they don't know deep down inside that they're a good person, that they have a good heart, that they're capable of striving to make their life better for themselves. They don't know this. And once a person can begin, and so I'm going to speak this out to someone in our audience tonight. Once you begin to believe, or take it a step further, you just don't believe it, you know this. You can feel this energy inside yourself. Once you are aware, let's not use belief. Once you are aware that inside of you is this substance, this divine substance that's inside of everyone else and every living thing on the planet. And once you can see outside yourself how things grow, then you know that you have an opportunity to grow. Always have an opportunity to grow. So this is why it is so important to begin to watch what you think about yourself. Watch what you feel about yourself. Watch what you're always thinking about all the time in regards to yourself. How many times people And I've done this myself, and I'm quite sure many of you have. Any successful person has done it. Where you are down on yourself, they call it down on your luck. But it really, there's no such thing as luck. You just don't understand the process that you may have to go through in order to get to your goal. You may not know that you might have to give yourself some positive self-talk. I could have called this self-talk instead of self-love. So you have to build yourself up brick by brick. You got to build your character. You got to treat yourself better. You've got to think good things about yourself. Here's a perfect example. You're out going for a walk to get in your morning exercise. Do you know while you're walking, some people listen to music. Some people listen to spiritual things. Some people listen to subliminal tapes that give positive messages. Well, if you don't have any of those, you can always take something that you've placed on paper for yourself and pull it out and read it as you walk. I remember a very good Native American spiritualist friend of mine. I'm not going to give his name out, but if you want to email me later, I'll tell you who he is. But he asked me, and he picked up on me back in 2010, I believe when I first met him, September 2010, and he gave me a 10-word phrase that was made of, each word had 2 words. Well, each word had 2 letters. And it was Spirit brought him this information. I use it. It's like a mantra to me. It's like a chant I could say over and over in my mind. And this was the phrase. He says, if it is to be, right? If it is to be. Okay, that's 5 words, and each word has 1 syllable. If it is to be. The next phrase was, it is up to me. And when I thought about that, I said, well, it's so simple to say. But it was a little rhyme. But it set up a rhythm in my consciousness. And to this day, I still use it. If it is to be, it is up to me. If it is to be, it is up to me. Well, what is it that I'm trying to be? Well, at this time, when he saw me in 2010, I weighed about 260, 280 pounds when he saw me in September 2010. Now, my weight had been shifting up and down. At one point, I was 272 and brought it down to 230, then it shot right back up to almost 300 pounds. So I was almost up to 300 pounds, but when he saw me, I was hovering right around that 270 range, 265. I was always playing with that range, 277, right in there. Now I'm about 5'7", so that's way too much weight for me. But check this out. When he saw me a year later, he saw me in 2011, a year later, he noticed I had dropped weight. So I saw him in September 2010. I was about 200, close to 270 pounds. When he saw me almost a year later, 6 months later, in April of 2011, my weight was at that time about 264, 60. So I dropped some weight. I knocked off about 12, 13 pounds. Still had a long way to go. But it was that phrase, and I still continue to use that phrase. If it is to be, it is up to me. So I want to share that with you about self-love. I want to take those 10 words that are made up of 2 letters, just giving us a syllable per word. I want to share that with you for self-love. If you want more self-love, it's going to be up to you. If you want to drop pounds, it's going to be up to you to find out how to do it, or to find the right people that can help you do that. If you want to feel younger, you're going to be able to work on yourself. You're going to have to do it. You're going to have to think better, do better, make changes where the changes are coming up, and go with the flow of the change, not go against it. So if it is to be, it is up to you. But you're going to say, if it is to be, it is up to me. And when you say it in a joyful manner. If it is to be, with conviction, it is up to me. What is it? It's the chore, it's the action that's up to you to think different. That's what the it is. Thinking. What do you think about yourself? Have you ever, anybody watching this program, have you ever wanted a particular clothing item, and at the time you saw it, you couldn't get into it? Why? Because you're carrying it too many inches in certain places. But you decided you were going to have an outfit like that. Maybe you're going to have one made for you, but you decided that you could wear it. How many people have clothes in their closets around them they couldn't wear years ago, but as they began to get on that program and began to what? Slim down, what happened? They discovered that they could wear the jeans. They could wear a shirt. There's a vest that they could wear now. There's sweaters that they could wear. But you know what? You didn't have to go into the past. You just had to come forward in your consciousness. So when you decided to come forward in your consciousness, you realized something happened. Well, not only did you streamline the body, but you streamlined your thoughts. You began to think more positively. You began to trust the power of the words that you were speaking. You began to trust the faith that was coming through, the power behind the words. You began to envision, to see this energy take on a form, an image. Because our words carry energy, and the words create an image. We're doing it all the time. Do you know we have to always change our words? I had to do it with myself. One of the words that I learned to associate and not associate with weight is the word lose. I discovered one day that whenever I said I was losing weight, well, the word lose or losing already had a negative connotation to it. Because when we think of losing, we think of like in a game, a contest. You're losing. You're not gaining anything. You lost. So you don't feel so good about losing. And then you get that word loser. So now that's putting a damper on your personality, on your character. So now you really are not going to apply yourself. You're going to sit back and say, well, I can't do it. I can't lose the weight because I'm a loser. I don't win at anything. So I had to shift the word around. And I had to say drop. I'm dropping weight. Or I'm trimming off certain images about myself and inches about myself at the same time. But I'm dropping the weight. This is not a losing battle. This is a battle that I will win with myself. I will drop the weight. I will get into the habit of dropping weight. I will get into the habit of exercising at least 5 days a week, if not 6 or 7, but at least 5 days a week. And instead of trying to figure out, should I do 45 minutes today, an hour later? No, I decided every day I'm going to spend 30 minutes. 30. When it's warm outside, I do 30. I'm out here in the Southwest. I'm still adjusting. But when it gets a little cooler, then I extend the 30 minutes to about 40, 45 minutes. But what do? I walk, I jog, I walk, I jog, I jog, I jog, I jog, I walk a little bit, I jog more, and then as I feel my body begin to warm up, then I begin to do wind sprints. Now I don't try to blast out of the blocks. I'm not a runner, but I try to run a little faster than I jog. I try to sit into my run. All these things come to me to do. I don't have a personal trainer when it comes to running. But I see enough people out there, all ages around me, and I watch them. And I see and I notice, well, I'm doing some of the same things that they're doing. So I'm doing it correctly. I just must have the patience to allow myself to go through the series, go through the process, and what? Love myself along the way. So I gave myself as an example. You have to love yourself. You have to take a good look at yourself and know that your body, the way it is, it may not be exactly yet the body that you want, but you must love it every step of the way by sending the vibration of self-love to your body. Do you know there's a master cell inside of you? Cells that govern other cells? And when they hear the vibration and feel the vibration of self-love, they respond. They open up. They're like guardians. They begin to show you the blueprint of how you should be, where you want to go, what you should eat, how you should eat. Eat less of this, more of that, more exercise, change the pattern. So you want to get yourself to the point where you are listening to the divine spirit, the Holy Spirit inside of you, the God energy inside of you, the universe inside of you. It knows who you are. It helps you to become more aware and allows you to do what? To remember. Here's another thing. When you're planning a project and you're attempting to do that project, as you build the self-love up to yourself, inside of yourself, remind yourself that somewhere in this current life stream, you've done something similar and you were just as successful at doing it then as you will become now. So you must love yourself from beginning to end. You must wake up loving yourself. You must, during the daytime, send love vibrations to yourself, to your body, to your muscles, to your organs, to your nerve system, your eyes, everything, your hair. Everything can hear you. So speak to yourself. Speak to the element of God inside of you. Who are you praying to anyway? God inside of you. The Holy Spirit, as we call it. The soul, as is the higher self. That's who you're sending this energy. So learn to love yourself more. Raise your self-esteem. Give yourself lofty feelings, lofty thoughts, and noble thoughts. Raise yourself. Fire up yourself with good words. Do something good for yourself. That is today's message. Self-love. Do something that empowers you. And what empowers you more than anything else? Self-love. Because if you love yourself, more love will flow to you. For you to do what? To give that love out. See, you are a spirit inside this human form and housing all of these infinite forms of light, of being. Being what? Compassion. Being what? More loving. Being what? More understanding. What is the being's name? Understanding. What is the being's name? I am that I am. What is the being's name? I am self-love. What is the being's name? I am compassion. What is the being's name? I am unconditional love. What is the being's name? I am healthy, wealthy, wiser, and stronger, younger, more rejuvenated. What is the being's name? I can seed into the lives of others. What is the being's name? I'm a seeder of divine grace. There's so much that has been added unto you. And as you become a limitless, boundless thinker, you become a limitless, boundless planner, and you become limitless and boundless with infinite, unconditional love. Love yourself, and you can't go wrong. That's tonight's program. Thank you for tuning in. Those who could watch it, thank you for being here. Those that weren't able to be here, you'll be able to catch it in the archives in about another 30 minutes. Or go to my www.youtube.com /, user/circle of grace with the number one at the end. And you can watch this program and any other program that is there in the archives at the Circle of Grace One's channel for YouTube. Thank you so much for coming by and being supportive, and we look forward to being back again to do another show. We try to come on somewhere between 5 and 7 p.m., but if we have a little technical problem, we come on a little later, or we may have to skip the show. However, the show goes on just the same. Some way, somehow, you receive this show. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. If you want to email me, you can always email me at iam.circleofgrace with the number one at the end at yahoo.com. That's iam.circleofgrace with number one at the end at yahoo.com. Or iam.circleofgrace1 at gmail.com. That's Google Mail. iam.circleofgrace with the number one at the end at gmail.com. Or you could try me at Bishop Francis, BishopFrancis, at circleofgrace1.net. Until next time, remember that divine grace is the blessing as we are alive and well in the age of remembrance. See you soon.